Hi everyone, Kyriacos Eliades. Last week I spoke a lot about the real estate and we spoke about shopping malls and businesses. Um, and this morning I let out my clip on residential properties, and I've received so many people asking me to please talk more about it. And I'm going to talk more about it. There's a lot of people that have asked me, I'm confused if I should or should not buy. I'm going to tell you, like I told you before, I'm very good when it comes to residential properties. I've done exceptionally well over the years with it, and I've understood it and I've studied it. And I've lost along the way, and I've paid a lot of school fees. And I'm going to tell you why I'm good at it and why I'm so passionate about it. And I've said it before. I would hate to see people lose their houses, be evicted, because they can't meet their bank payments and that. And that's why I do what I do, because if I can help, I will help. And sometimes people don't like what I have to say because it's against their pockets and that, and so be it. At the end of the day, we want to help people. That's why we do what we do. So I'll tell you a little story before I get back onto the residential properties, and you can understand why I'm so passionate about it. And that I've studied residential properties over the years. I've had a look at it over in other countries as well. And, and I said it, you need to understand anything that you get involved, you need to understand it if you're going to invest money. So I'll tell you a very quick story why I'm so passionate about it. So many years ago, I used to work, my brother was studying, my brother's a CA, and, I would have to work so that we could actually put him through university, and he was waitering as a waiter in the evenings, trying to create more money. And my brother finished eventually his studies to become a CA, but he had a passion for property. By the age of 23, he was a multimillionaire, my brother. He was a multimillionaire. By the age of 27, he lost everything. Everything. He wrote a book. Yeah, it is. Yeah, his name's Johnny Eliades. So he was by the age of 23, he became very wealthy out of property. By the age of 27, he lost everything through property. So myself, I went through a very difficult time in property when interest rates and that went haywire in South Africa. We're talking 19 years ago. Every second house I would actually see in my street was actually in the market. People were struggling to meet their payments. People were struggling, to keep themselves afloat. People couldn't offload their properties. They had to take a big knock to sell them. So I'm just telling you the story, because I know what I'm talking about. I have seen people close to me lose everything, myself included. I had lost a number of properties at that time. I had to offload. I couldn't offload. I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. It was stressful. It was a very difficult time. Families couldn't pay their rents. And there were many people that went through that. So that is why I always say, I know what I'm talking about. I've been through it. I've paid the school fees. And I've seen people around me like my brother and, friends and that lose everything because of situations that change. So I'm telling you the story is because I don't want you to lose money. I don't want you to be in the street. I don't want you to have to go through what we went through. And that is why I tell you, most people shouldn't be buying property. A residential property where they live. They shouldn't be buying, because most people are not ready yet. Yes, you want to buy, but make sure you're ready. I see so many people that can just barely afford the residential property that they own. And then they're constantly under financial pressure for many, many years. You can't think straight. You can't do anything. You can't make money. Remember that the property that you stay in cannot make money for you. Yes, people will tell you it will go up in value. And yes, you should, if you're paying rent, you're paying to somebody else. You know what? At the end of the day, when you're paying your bond, the first 10 years, you're actually just paying interest. So what's the difference at the end of the day? Don't put yourself under pressure. Do not put yourself under pressure, because when you're under pressure, you can't make good decisions. You know what? If you're under pressure for the right reasons, yes, it's about all this time pushing yourself. But most people need capital. They need that opportunity to invest in something else. So I see so many people buying properties, but they're not ready to buy that residential property, the property that they say. Buy property to make money for you. Then go and buy property. Most people that you hear throughout the world, they've become successful through property. Yes, and it's nice to hear that you sleep and you earn money, and that is very good and well in that. And that is people that invest in property to make money. Your residential property that you live in does not make money. It only costs you money. When you are renting, it is somebody else's problem. It's better for you. You know how much you're in for. You know what you need to do. I have seen it so many times. People offloading their houses eventually because they can't afford them. And I say it, and all the time, think before you buy. You know what? It's nice. Everybody wants to own their own property. But if you're not ready, there is no shame. If you have to rent, rent. Nothing wrong with it. Rather have money in the bank to invest in something than to live on a borderline every single day. I remember the time when interest went haywire in our country. Properties were going at 30% down below book value. I mean, people just wanted to save their names with the banks and that, and they were prepared. Whatever they had paid, whatever deposits they had paid, they were happy to offload. I mean, a lot of people became wealthy overnight because the people with cash made money. So, and I say it again, that a property that you live in does not make money for you. It is not a good investment. Yes, it is an emotional decision to own your own house. It's emotional. It's not a business decision. You can rent and take that money and go and buy another property that will make money for you, or invest it in a business that's going to give you cash flow. And if you have money, you will make money. And I'm going to go more this week and talk about properties and that, because I can see with the amount of messages that I did receive today that there are some people that are really in a tough situation and they don't know what to do. And it's good that they are reaching out and that. And there are people that maybe want to buy. Think it before you buy. Ask yourself, am I ready? Or is this going to put me under pressure? We are hearing so many uncertainties with Moody's that came out saying what they did now. We're hearing of so many companies that are retrenching and restructuring and that. Be careful that you're not in the chopping block. What happens? You buy that property. It is going to become a burden. Nothing more. If you're renting, you can't anymore, it's too expensive. You can say, listen, let me go to a cheaper rent and try to make it. I hate to see people lose their properties. I know what it feels like. I had seen it. I had seen it when my brother was at 27 and had lost everything. And at 20, like I said, he was a multimillionaire at the age of 23, 24. He's a multimillionaire. He had many, many properties, lost everything. Myself, I had to sell so many properties that time. I couldn't meet the payments and that. So I have been through it. I've seen our loved ones been through it. I am telling you, listen to what we are saying, because we are talking from experience. If you want to make your own decision, by all means, we are only here to guide and help. And that is all I am doing at the end of the day. It is still your decision. But buying a house is an emotional decision. Invest. Make sure that you can make money. And if you do happen to buy that property, ask yourself, can you afford it? Because we've said it again. You're buying a property over 20 years. You don't even know what's going to happen next year. How are you going to know what's going to happen in 20 years? We've said it again. You paid off in 10. You still don't know what's going to happen in a year's time. Are you able? Are you able to maintain it? Are you able if things change? I mean, I was happening to be watching Carte Blanche. I'm looking at crimes in the areas. People now are looking at crime. Crime is becoming a big problem. What happens if you're affected by crime and you need to offload that property and move somewhere where it's safer? Can you? You need to take these things into consideration. Crime, the cost of living, maintenance. You need to look at what type of neighbors. You need to look what's happening around you. I'm seeing properties that it's amazing the state of them. People just don't want to buy eventually because of what the neighbors are like there. The thing is, if you get retrenched, can you offload that property, or is it going to take you 6 months? Are you, when you sell it, going to be in the red? So you need to ask yourself the question if you can afford it, and is it going to really make much of a difference to you to rent for another year or rent for another 2 years before you buy. Properties are really, it's a nice thing to say, I own my own property, but it's worse to say that I've lost my own property. And if you have lost it, you stand up and you go again. So invest in yourself. Find a way to earn more money. Find a way to educate yourself how to make more money. And ask yourself, are you ready for that property? Are you ready for that financial burden? Or are you making an emotional decision? Because an emotional decision always ends up being a disaster. We see it in business as well. When somebody doesn't make a business decision but makes an emotional decision, it ends up costing him money. So look at the numbers. Look at the statistics. Look at your situation. Most importantly, is it going to make money for you, or is it going to hold you back? What happens if things go belly up and political situation, isn't good? Banks decide that they don't give money, because as long as we're getting money, property prices are going up. But eventually, if there is no money, property prices have to come down because people can't afford that. So people start putting them in the market. So you need to look at all of those type of things. What I am saying to you is, it is your decision. I don't know your situation. I don't know what pushes you, what gets you to the next level. But what I do know is, and I've seen it so many times, is tough times are coming. Tough times do put you to the test. And are you ready for that test? Because a lot of times we say, only if I had known better, only if I had known. Everybody knows. There is nothing that can tell you what will happen a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, or 10 or 20 years. There's nothing that can tell you that. But what can you do is prepare yourself, that if times are tough, that you're in a financial position that you can handle it. And I can tell you another thing is, if you have money and you have money put aside, opportunities will come. There are bargains all the time coming. Property prices. We said it before. People die. Liquidations. People need to move. People are affected through divorce. There are many times that opportunity for property prices will come down because of these type of circumstances. I've seen people, when they go into a divorce, they don't care what the market value is. They just want to get this all done and dusted. They will let a property go for 20-30% under book value because they want to finish up here. I've seen it so many times when somebody has died and the family says, I just want to offload this property. I'm not interested. I just want to offload. We want to settle this. We want to close this chapter. So what I am telling you is, think, look, and be careful. Because at the end of the day, if you fall into trouble, it's no one else's fault but your own. Because all the signs are there that you need to be careful, and you don't have to buy right now. You can buy when you are ready. when you are financially secure to buy, and rather invest in making money than giving out, because the first couple of years, the first 10 years or so, you're only paying interest. So what's the difference between renting and buying? Think of it. Buying ends up costing you more money. And so stop making an emotional decision and make a business decision, and start putting money in your pocket and start thinking about the tomorrow, because if you think about tomorrow, you are one of the guys that are going to have money in your pocket. Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Kyriacos, Eliades. And we appreciate all the comments and that, and we will try to talk more about it, because I know I've received a lot of messages and calls today asking me to discuss it more. So I will discuss it more. I will go more into depth. But what I can tell you is, don't make an emotional decision, make a business decision. Thank you, everybody. Kyriacos, Eliades, and see you all on the top. And remember, we all have the potential for greatness. So you go out there, you achieve your greatness. And remember, we all see the signs, Nobody can predict the future. But if we make provisions, we'll be one of the lucky ones that see the signs long ahead, because we did make provisions for them. Cheers, everybody. Kyriacos, Eliades.